Welcome everyone. I am your host BRL Exia with BRL Phantom here in the booth with me. How are you today, Mr. Phantom?
Pretty good. How are you, Exia?
I'm doing wonderful. We had a wonderful show for Tier 1 PC on Friday night. Drivers Jared and Hoopalicious were joining us, so I have a generalized idea of what the pace is that they have. But time to see what the Xbox drivers here in Tier 1 can do and the pace that they can set. I've been told that the pace that these drivers in Tier 1 are going to need to run is around mid 102s here. As we see, Chandler Seda is out on his outlap, as well as Hoopalicious and Pirandi.
So far, I'm assuming we'll be seeing most of the guys here running the softs, as the strategy typically is the medium to soft around here, but knowing how weather can play out in the race and safety cars could change everything.
That is very true. A lot of the other tiers I do know have had issues between dry qualifiers, wet races, or wet qualifiers, dry races. So let's see if the world of Tier 1 is the weather plays a little bit more favor to them. It gives them an all-dry race. Gives one of these spectacular races. See about half the grid coming out on outlaps, all on soft tires. The only person who's coming out on mediums is ABR Meta. So it'll definitely be interesting to see, what he's able to set with those medium compound tires. We already have Chandler. He's on a hot lap. We have 15.6 in the Sector 1. Here comes Hoopalicious. He's about 2/10 off in Sector 1, followed behind Chandler. Definitely keep an eye on them as they go around. Any early predictions that you may think who could put the car on top at pole here in Austria?
I'm not going to make any predictions yet, because I have a feeling it's going to be all down to wherever the top 5 guys sit and whatever happens in the race. But if I had to make a prediction, I'd either say, of course, NzL Ryan is going to be one of the boys up there, or even maybe Hoopalicious.
And Chandler, he invalidated his lap right at the last corner. Here comes Hoopalicious. What does he set? Crosses the line. He does a 103.2. And Pirandi, he does a 102.7, setting the fastest lap so far in the early stages of his qualifying. Let's see what we've got here. ERS Ham Newton, he has joined us here at Austria. I have not seen him for a while. Glad to see that he is back racing with us. Let's see, where do we else have? Looks like here comes Abada. He does a 104.3 on mediums. Deer Hunter setting a 104 flat. Now we have B Dunk, who's doing a 103.4. Ginger Horizon, the two McLaren drivers, sitting side by side with a 103.8. ERL Williams definitely working that car out. He did a 107.1. Must have had a lot of issues. Let's drop down the field here. Let's see where Oz Formula is going through Sector 2. To Sector 3. What can he do? Like Hoopalicious is diving back in the pits as well. This number 1 Finn fan, he invalidated Oz Formula. What do you have? He invalidated his lap as well. So right now we have Ronnie. He is sitting there up at the top, 5/10 faster than everybody else. Just saying, all right, guys, time to catch me. The only still half the field that still has yet to set a lap time. The yellow Sector 2. Looks like it's all cleared up there. Jared starts his fast lap, utilizing a lot of that curb in turn 1 that could either help you, and I just found out word from one of the drivers in Tier 1, it is a dry race. So they are definitely, as Jared sits a purple Sector 1. See what he's able to do through this lap as he goes around the track. Looks like the weather is going to work out awesome for the Tier 1 drivers. Looks like there's no rain.
Definitely be keeping our feet on the edge for us, as we'll be watching, I'm sure, plenty of these drivers having battles around this track.
Of course, especially as our Tier 1 drivers in BRL, they do not run any assist that includes racing line. So these drivers are definitely learning this track in and out to know when the braking point is, when to catch it, everything. So we'll definitely be interested to see how as Jared sits a 103 flat, now 3/10 back. What can his teammate, New Zealand Ryan, the championship standing driver, what is he able to do? As FinFan, he is in Aust Formula. Those drivers both 2 times out, invalidated a lap. ERL Williams, he's 3-lap-old softs, invalidated, hasn't improved. You know, that's the one thing that we haven't talked about, Phantom, is with these drivers is lap validation. They are pushing these cars as hard as they possibly can. You know, but how far can they push? You know, and then how many drivers are going to get called out and not be able to set that lap time that they need to set a fast lap because they invalidate.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a huge factor for qualifying here, because it's only short qualifying. And I know most of the turns to watch out for is definitely the last 2 turns and the first turn. The only other one to watch out for is beginning of Sector 3, that left-hander. If you go wide just ever so slightly, your lap's going to be deleted.
Of course, there's all, as Chandler sits at 102.6 as we wait here. It looks like the track is definitely grooving in. I'm following X as he invalidates his lap, just like we were talking about. Hugo Allen, he's definitely losing the back end of that Haas there. He is on medium tires. So far right now, the drivers that have yet to set a lap, Cam Newton, Aust Formula, as Ferrandi sets a new fast lap in qualifying to a 102.5, responding to Chandler's status, saying, look, I'm still here. GSR Axe still has yet to set a time because he invalidated New Zealand Ryan. And curious whether or not New Zealand Ryan is just going to try to do the last lap push and hope for the best. As we see Deer Hunter, big shout out to Deer Hunter. He won his karting race today. Congratulations to him. Hopefully he's bringing some of that competition here to Tier 1 as he's sitting in the mid-pack around 9th in qualifying here with a 103.7, 3/10 off of AB Armada. Where we have DRS Cam Newton as he crosses the line with a 103 flat. Wow, the spread between 4th, 5th, and 6th place is mind-boggling right there. I mean, just, thousandths of a second in how this all plays out for these drivers. When we talk about close competition, I mean, you're seeing it here. I mean, these drivers definitely are pushing everything to the limit as they battle around the track. We jump down here as we're going to go over to Aust Formula. What can he do in this Sector 2? A little bit of a lockup as he comes around. The purple Sector 2. Now, can he make something out of this here in Sector 3 and put his car up into that top 5 as we have 8 minutes left to play and only 3 drivers have yet to set a lap? There he goes. Oh, and he invalidates it. What a shame.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. We've seen that, I'm pretty sure, with plenty of the drivers, especially with the last 3 minutes as they're trying to set their best laps.
We do have New Zealand Ryan. He is out on his out lap, so it'll definitely be interesting to see where he sets his times up. Looks like we have a little bit of a cluster here towards the end of Sector 2 and the start of Sector 3. Ginger Horizon, purple Sector 2. What can he do? The track is definitely developing for these drivers. We're gonna ride aboard with him in the last 2 corners.
Up the line, Jared improves, bumping him up to 3rd place.
There we go, Ginger Horizon sitting 7th now with a 103.2. Look like who? No, he's still on a fast lap. Bin Fan sitting 8th with a 103.3. DRL Williams, he's been able to pull out a 104.4. Hopefully he's able to string in a few things. We're going to drop down to NzL Ryan. What does the championship leader have? Can he throw it on the top? Can he pull in a low 102? Here he goes on the main straight. DRS open. Cross the line, 102.9. There's still time to improve. 7 minutes left to go. I mean, Seda and Ferrandi, they came out swinging early, showing the pace. You know, I mean, it's definitely interesting where they're at. Where's GSR X? He's the only driver that hasn't set a time. He's here in sector 2 after the hairpin. We'll definitely have to keep an eye out. I do know, I'm sure you've noticed as well, Phantom, as you race in our Tier 4 group, the drivers are definitely having an eye out. The stewards are definitely going to be watching when they come across that line for that pit entrance, when they come into the pits, and who's going to try to, who may break it, as Axe does a 103.2. Puts him in 9th, which is really good for him. Very strong performance. It looks like Williams is going back out on a set of medium compound tires, which is interesting because I believe he already went out on those mediums as well.
I think the only runner on mediums was the ABR Montia at first, so BRL Williams could potentially be trying to do the opposite strategy of the mediums to softs to the end.
May help him out depending on if there's a safety car, as Ginger Horizon squeezes up to his teammate B-Dog, sitting there in 6th place. I mean, these McLaren duo drivers are definitely working out and helping out each other in the Constructors' Championship here. As we have Ferrandi, he is out on a fast lap. Can he improve? Where is he at? He is in the start of Sector 3. Welcome to the viewers that we have here. As Ferrandi dives into the pits. He may be waiting for the last. See, Williams has invalidated his lap. What a shame there. Here we go, Alan, a 111.3.
Could have had a few lockups here from Alan, or either potentially a half spin and just wanted to get at least the time on the board. Who knows?
That's very true. Haas Formula, he is definitely pushing here on his outlap on medium compound tires. Hopefully, big lockup here in that hairpin of Sector 2 as he comes around. Can he actually put a time on the track? His line looks very strong. Oh, and he loses it. He spun. He spun. He is definitely, his tires are going to be cooked. His best bet is probably just to dive into the pits and hope he has that set of softs that he can use to save him. Hopefully he didn't burn up too much of his tires and it lost, but he's going back out. It puts him as a 110.3, so he's not last. With the spin. So right now, everybody's in the pits. Like we have ABR, he is out first, followed by BRL Williams. He is on a fast lap right behind him. He is one of the 3 drivers. We are waiting to see how much do they improve. Here he goes, last corner, has it invalidated, DRS open. What does he do? He improves a little bit to a 104.1 on those beats, and he loses it, but he saves it. Good job there by Mr. Williams.
I believe the next driver that will be crossing the line, actually a set lap, will be ABR Mattia. He's coming here into turn 4. See how he improves while he finishes out sector 2. Uses as much curve just to get to entry of turn 5, a little wide, but he's improved by almost 2/10.
As this track develops, and hopefully he has enough fuel to utilize these softs to, you know, improve and put himself close to that top 10, and hopefully not put himself too far ahead to where it chews up his tires too much. Because looks like he improved a hair, but not by a whole lot.
Yeah, potentially lost a little bit of time either in the second or last corner, right before the line.
Fan up to 6. He was right behind him as Nadia has retired from the session. A shame there. That will definitely most likely be a review for retiring out on the track. As now we start to see all the drivers start piling out as they go around. See where we've got Rodney invalidates, but now looks like he's on his big flyer now here, so he'll definitely be the first person to cross the line. We have a little bit of a cluster here, and it looks like it got really dark really fast here in qualifying.
It's almost looking like Monza qualifying with everyone trying to get out, get a position.
Now here's the issue. If these guys pack up too much and slow down before the fast lap, Ferrandi's already coming through the hairpin in sector 2, and he's flying. We see one of the Mercedes waiting out. I mean, if Ferrandi actually gets held up, I mean, I don't know what else to say here.
I mean, the only person to hold him up is Deer Hunter, who's right now starting his lap.
And it looks like Ferrandi and Valley, because he had to back out because Deer Hunter was just starting his lap right at the last minute. What a shame for Ferrandi, but we're going to ride along board. Looks like GSR Axe lost it a little bit. Go through Mean Fern, purple sector 2 as he comes. Mean Fern is the first driver. See what Mean Fern can do as he comes to the last corner. Across the line. He improves slightly, but not by a whole lot. What else do we have? We have a Mercedes. Is it Jared? Let's see what happens. Jared across the line. Does not improve. Aus Formula bumps to 10th to a 103.2. Chandler with a 102.4. Ginger Horizon jumps New Zealand Ryan. There's a lot of movement around on the board here. Where's Hoop? Hoop slowed down for... It shows BRL Williams is still on a outlap.
Yeah, that could potentially be... Ah, there we go, he retired. Because I do believe Deer Hunter was the last to cross the line with only 2 seconds remaining.
Yes. What a shame for Ferrandi. I mean, I really wanted to see what that lap was that he was stringing in towards the end. I mean, what a shame there. I mean, you can't really control a whole lot of what happens in front of you, especially when drivers are also starting their fast lap. But I mean, I guess it's the bad luck of the draw of what happens. I mean, but what a shame for him. Definitely would have, wanted to know if he did like a 102 flat.
Yeah, he definitely could have probably been on pole beating Chandler's 102.48. But I do believe Deer Hunter was at fault because he did have to lock up and slow his car down on that last corner. So it'll be interesting seeing if any of those incidents pop up.
It will be. And here we have it. Chandler said it, putting his car on pole here at Austria with Pirandi. He is sitting second. DRC Jarrett coming out of nowhere towards the later to the mid part of the season here, putting his car on third. Hupalicia is fourth. Ginger Horizon fifth. NzL Ryan sixth. Definitely not a strong qualifying performance. We'll definitely see how the race is. FinFan seventh. B-Dug eighth. Ham Newton ninth. Oz Formula 10th. Axe 11th. Deer Hunter 12th. ABR Meta 13th, Mean Fern 14th, BRL Williams 15th, and Hugo Allen 16th. And, definitely, I'm curious who is going to go for the medium tire here. Who's going to roll the dice? And who, of course, we know the top 10 is going to be 10. It's going to be on the softs. But who do you think is going to roll the dice? BRL Phantom.
My bet is going to be one of the first few people starting outside the top 10. If they can get that toe from all the guys in the top 10 and just stick with them. Because I did the same thing with, I believe, Jared. I just kind of stuck with him for pretty much 75% of the race. And I was on the mediums, went to softs, and it worked out perfectly fine. It just depends on.
We know.
Oh, it just depends on whether the drivers can stick within the DRS train.
I agree 100%. Turn one, of course, is going to be a tricky one. Turn three, we all know in any league, turn three is going to be a tricky one, especially the hairpin is going to be a tricky one. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that, and as well as safety cars. Who is going to try to be the one lap hero? And then who's going to be the victorious one and who's not going to be the victorious one? As we are waiting for the rest of the drivers to ready up. Welcome to the viewers. Please give a shout out in the chat who you think is going to win this race as we get going. Any early predictions for you, Phantom, or you still don't know yet?
I said Ryan was potentially going to be up there, and same with Hoop. Those were my two guesses. Seeing that Ryan is of course, our Tier 1 championship leader right now. But I want to give a shout out to Hoop because I believe he's had a few good races the past weekends.
He has. He had a very strong performance in PC, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on him as he goes through. We're just gonna walk the people down the grid, just so in case if they missed it. We have Chandler Seta. He is starting up on pole in the Alfa Romeo, with Pirandi in that Renault, starting second. DRC Jared, he is starting third in the Mercedes, with Hupalicious in the Red Bull fourth. Here we have the strategy: softs to mediums. Lap prediction is 14 to 16, or softs to hard. Lap prediction is a couple laps earlier, 12 to 13. So let's see if we can pull up real fast what tire everybody is on, and 11 through 13 is on mediums, and Williams going to the hard compound tire. So he's doing the hardcore reverse strategy, as I like to call it. He's really hoping for a lot to play out here, and hopefully his setup allows for a little bit higher tire drag, but he can warm his tires up sooner as we wait for the final cars to line up on the grid, as we wait for the 5 lights. Here we go. Start of the Austrian Grand Prix for Tier 1 for BRL as we wait. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and we are away. Not a whole lot of tire smoke. Seta gets a run. There goes Ginger Horizon around Hupalicious. Do they make it stick? No contact. Ginger Horizon goes a little wide there. Jared falls a little bit, but he still holds his position very strong. Not a whole lot of big moves there. BRL Williams drops. Looks like Hoopalicious and Pirani, they're battling it out. Hoopalicious making a move on Jared and sliding him up a little bit. Axe loses it a lot. Oh, down into the hairpin. Ginger Horizon sent it for a victorious, trying to move on New Zealand Ryan with Jared. Jared looks like he's falling back, but he's losing a lot of pace there.
Yeah, I do believe that contact going into turn 3 was Ham, Mattia, and Axe all going 3 wide into turn 3, so don't know exactly what happened, but saw there's 3 cars wide, and that's already a squeeze even with 2.
Ooh, that definitely, it is definitely very tight with 2 drivers, as we've seen in the real F1 between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. As we see the massive freight train here, as the drivers go through, see what we got. Waiting for the interval to move around so we can get a stronger idea of everything as we go through. The big movers is Alan Hugo with 5 places. He's up to 11th. Our biggest losers is DRC Jared. He's down 3 spots. But he does have his teammate New Zealand Ryan with him, so hopefully they're able to check up and pull. If we go through, as Chandler said, is about half a second ahead of Pirani in the Alfa Romeo. He is pushing very hard to try to increase that gap now to 6/10 with Hoopalicious at 6/10 from Pirani here. As they go, Chandler sets the new fast lap to 106 compared to his first lap, 109. He's definitely slapped it in rich and he's called it a day. We go through quarter. DRS Cam Newton looks like he's got a nice toe on Fin Fan as he comes up to turn 3. Is he going to try? Ooh, looks like ADR tapped the back of him with Chris Hugo out. Looks like there's a little bit of bump and runs here. We're coming up to that hairpin. Side by side they go. Both lock up. Hugo Allen gets the better run on him. Go through. Sad for Oz Formula and Axe having a lot of those issues. Hopefully they are able to reel these drivers back in and move up. We're going to pull back up the tires. Ginger Horizon sets a new fast lap from Chandler. Jared gets a 3-second time penalty. That is not going to help him overall. We jump back up to the leaders here. Pirani has now closed the gap in from Chandler to 4/10 of a second. Can Pirani make the move on Chandler? Looks like Chandler may have burned out his tires a little too early here in this race.
Now the real question is, these top 3 runners are all over the back of Chandler, as we see Pirani just 2/10, if not under, on the back of Chandler.
And B-Dun gets a 3-second time penalty. Chandler's going to try to cover the inside. He's got nothing against Pirani. He's going to have to let him go with that DRS. But now Chandler's going to fall victim. I mean, he is going to have DRS, but, you know, everybody else behind him is going to have DRS as well. So hopefully Chandler saved up a little bit ERS to kind of save him. There's a massive train lock, as I'm going to call it, through the hairpin as they go through. As the drivers of Tier 1 are just all massive train here through this race. Through 1 through 9th. The top 10, all battling it out very cleanly. We haven't had a lot of issues here. 5 laps in. We'll down the order and see what we have. New Zealand Ryan still working his way around Ginger Horizon. And Newton gets a 3-second time penalty. I will have to say congrats to Austria. He's now brought that gap of 23 seconds down to 20 seconds. He's still reeling them in on the softs. He can still play a huge factor as GSR Axe also. He's 11 seconds back from the Aus Formula on those hard compound tires, and he's already pitted, so he can go all the way if he wants to, not have to worry about pitting. So this may play out and help him out in the long run. Like Pirandi is pulled from Chandler, said a 1 second gap. He said goodbye to your DRS, I'm out of here. Hopefully Chandler can take the fight back and utilize some of that ERS to catch him, because it looks like Pirandi's only got about 20-30% around there that he's just burning up.
Yeah, the one thing about this track is if you lose that DRS between the driver in front, the driver in front will easily pull away. So we see Chandler, he's just around the range. He's at the 1 second mark. See if he gets DRS coming into next lap and see if he can potentially put in the fight for BRL Pirandi while also defending Hoopalicious right behind him.
As Hoopalicious is just, and Ginger Horizon has closed the gap to Hoopalicious 3/10. These guys are just sticking to Hoopalicious backside like, okay, you make the move and we're gonna follow with you. So it'll definitely be interesting to see if can Hoopalicious, even though he doesn't have a teammate right now here for this race, can he reel in more drivers to help him out as GSRX gets a 3-second time penalty all the way in 16th place. Like the field from 9th through 14th is spread out a little bit, and the medium drivers have started to stabilize in their times as we go around the track here. Yeah, I mean, Chandler said he's fallen back to 1.2 seconds, and Hoop is just reeling him in. But Hoop has 73% ERS, and he's not really using overtake, which is a little interesting. I thought he would have at least tried to make the move, and taken a shot at Chandler to possibly try to pass him here in these early stages.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting here in the next few laps as pretty much everyone behind Chandler is right on the bumper of each other, around 4/10
looks
to
like
even.
Hoop's diving into the pits. He dives into the pits. Wow, this is really early for Hoop. 8 laps in, I thought he would have at least tried to stretch him out to about like the 12 lap marker there. New Zealand Ryan gets a 3-second time penalty. Hoop is trying for the massive undercut. He's going to the hard compound tires. Ginger Horizon gets a 3-second time penalty. Oh, here goes New Zealand Ryan on the inside. Very professional move. Very clean, especially from the championship leader. Jared has dropped back. What happened to Jared? I apologize to the viewers. Something happened to Jared. He was up there in that top 5 fight. Now he's sitting 9th. Oh, B-Dunk loses it. Smacks the wall, but doesn't look like he has a whole lot of wing damage at all.
I wonder if Jared just got caught out by the rules that we have for going into the pits. Since Hoopalicious was on the inside line, could have got caught up on the apex and just lost it a little bit.
Ooh, looked like Chandler ran a little wide going into the pits there. Definitely be interesting to see what he goes to as we follow everybody here. Top 3 as Pirani now 3 seconds from New Zealand. Ryan B-Dunk gets a 3-second time penalty. Chandler going to the hards. He's going to try to take that undercut that Hoopalicious sent to him and try to fight that out. And it looks like Hoopalicious he pulled that off on Chandler's setup. As Chandler is just now coming out of the pits. Congrats to Hoop on that undercut. As we follow along now. So now everybody's starting to spread out, and those medium tire drivers, Hugo Allen, who started last, now is up to 7th. He's only 1.1 seconds behind ERS Ham Newton on those soft compound tires. So definitely have to keep an eye on these. DSR Axie went into the pits to retire. Thank you, sir, for that. See where we've got as Pirandi, he is in the pits. Is he going to go to the hards? Or is he going to try that really long medium tire? Ham Newton gets a 3-second time penalty. B-Dunk is in the pits. What's he going to do? He's going to the hard compound tires. B-Dunk is going to the hards. Beeford, he's most likely going to go to the hards. We're right aboard with these guys. I'm watching the Delta, also the Ginger Horizon here. Yellow Sector 1. Looks like it was Axe's car after he retired when he pulled into the pits. We are clear, no safety car. Hugo Allen now up to 3rd. He's trying to work ERS Ham Newton on those soft tires. Here goes Hugo Allen. He makes it work around. This is very interesting here. We talked about these drivers that were on the medium compound tires and how far can they take those mediums. And we weren't really expecting, I wasn't expecting some of these medium drivers to work their way up to the front row of the grid so soon. We have Hugo Allen. He's only 4 seconds behind Ginger Horizon. And these soft guys that want to go soft medium, they have, they've got 2 more laps to go if they want to at least try to make that softer tire strategy work. DRC Jared, he did the medium tire strategy. Same with Meanfern, so that's definitely going to see how well can they make those medium tires last around the whole entire track. Hoopalicious gets past Deer Hunter here. Now he has the other Racing Point driver, BRL Williams, to get past, as Williams started on those hard compound tires. 3/10 back. Hoopalicious, DRS is open. He looks like he's making the run on the inside, but he doesn't. He's going to check up right behind BRL Williams. Is he going to pull it off on this straight here? 63% ERS. Gets the run. What's going to happen? Is Williams going to cover the inside? He does. Here goes Hoop. Williams just checks up right behind him. Doesn't even really fight for the place. Even though Williams does have 12 old hard tires, they're still up there. Those tires must probably still be fresh. What's your thoughts, Phantom?
I'm thinking Williams is just going to be using Hoop as kind of his own toe for the rest of this race. Basically just stick with him, save the tires, try not to battle anyone, and just bring the tires into life for all the way to the end of the race, basically.
Yeah, that's very true, as we see Chandler now 4/10 behind Williams. He's going to have to get past Williams. But, bringing back to that Hugo Allen thing, Hugo Allen is now 2.3 seconds behind the leaders on the softs, and they probably have about 1 or 2 more laps to go, as BRL Williams just lets Chandler by. He gets another 3-second time penalty, which is definitely not helping his case, as DRC Jared has the DRS open. He's looking for a move on the inside, and B-Dog just checks up right behind the Merc driver as they go through. see what we've got here. We're gonna scroll up the order. Will B-Dunk take the fight? There's 2 tenths. Keep an eye on them real quick as we go. Looks like Jared is starting to pull a little bit away from B-Dunk. B-Dunk is slowly locking up around the track. And here we have the 1 and 2. They dove into the pits. New Zealand Ryan, of course, going to the medium compounds. Looks like he has to serve a time penalty. New Zealand Ryan losing out on that. Wow. Did Ginger Horizon also have to serve a time penalty? That was weird. Was Ryan sleeping in the pits? I believe so, because the drivers were done with the tires and he just waited. Interesting. So that's going to slot New Zealand Ryan ahead of his teammate.
Could also be a glitch with Codemaster's end too, as New Zealand Ryan makes a move around Deer Hunter going into turn 4.
As well as his teammate DRC Jared, he goes around Deer Hunter as they are just pushing. Now that only sits between the Merc and the McLaren team is Deer Hunter. Question is Deer Hunter going to make it difficult for the McLaren duo, or are they just going to squeeze on by? It looks like they're just going to squeeze on by Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter's just on his own little road towards the end of the race. Ginger Horizon looks at it in turn 1 behind Deer Hunter, back out. Deer Hunter gets a 3-second time penalty. BRL Williams still racing his own little race as the Merc duo are just working their way around him. Here.
As it looks like the McLaren boys are going to be making a swap too. Horizon makes his way around B-Dunk.
A lot of, and it's interesting. There's a lot of team organization going that you and I we're not used to seeing back in Tier 4, which is definitely interesting to see here in Tier 1, as these guys are just checking up together and just saying, all right, let's work together, let's carve through the grid, and let's push as much as we can.
Yeah, because at least the thing within Tier 1, all the guys are pretty much close in pace. Only about a second difference between the fastest drivers and the slowest drivers, so most of the time everyone's on equal pace and not a lot of different strategies get rolling around.
That is very true, as B-Dunk goes super deep into turn 3 to check up right behind his teammate to help him out. His swim fan gets a 3-second time penalty. There goes Chandler around Hoopalicious in turn 4. As Chandler is trying to chase down Pirandi. Now Pirandi is 7.5 seconds behind Alan Hugo. Now Alan Hugo still needs the pit, just like BRL Williams, Deer Hunter. Definitely interested to see where Hugo Allen is going to pit with those, where he's going to pit, what lap he's going to pit on those medium compound tires. To the viewers that are watching, who are your predictions that you think are gonna pull off a victory? Please make a shout out in the chat and let us know. Cam Newton gets a 3-second time penalty. Hoopalicious still following Chandler, trying to get that trying to get that podium spot. Right behind Hoopalicious is our championship leader and reigning champion leader from last season, New Zealand Ryan, with his teammate in tow, chasing down Hoopalicious at he only has a 1.2 second gap, and it is getting closer and closer as we go. Now it's down to a second as we get into Sector 3. So Hoopalicious is gonna have to find something and push as hard as he can. Thank you for the follow, Devil 1406. Here we go, New Zealand Ryan 6/10 back from Hoopalicious. As Hoopalicious is now 5 to Chandler said he gets a 3-second time penalty. That is not going to help him here in the chances with the way the grid orders are going. Jump aboard Hoopalicious here as he goes into turn 4. Very light lockup, and that's going to give New Zealand Ryan all over the back of him. As they come through up to turn 5, New Zealand Ryan down on the inside. He catches a little bit of grass, but he makes it stick. He is flying. He saw Hoop make a mistake, and now he's chasing after Chandler. And Chandler, with that 3-second time penalty, is going to have to try everything he possibly can to pull away from New Zealand Ryan here. New Zealand Ryan's burned up 16% of his ERS here in this race. Chandler still has about 52%. So at least there's a little bit of a benefit for Chandler to kind of protect himself if New Zealand Ryan comes for the attack. Cam Newton gets another 3-second time penalty. Infan gets a 3-second time penalty. Looks like there's a lot of time penalties building up in that backpack of between 11 through 15. Definitely be interested to see how that plays out with the drivers all the way back there. Plus the drivers up in front. What's your thoughts on that, Mr. Phantom?
Right now, I believe at least the top 6 guys have kept their nose clean so far. But with all the time penalties, it's definitely going to stir up the ladder of the midfield and all the guys who are outside of points, potentially trying to gain points. So it'll definitely be a mix between all the fields. And speaking about a mix between all the fields, New Zealand Ryan all over the back of Chandler. His bet if he wants to get the win here is at least get past Chandler and catch up to Pirandi, since he's on the mediums.
That is very true. As Hugo Allen dove into the pits, of course, we knew he was going to go to the softs, but looks like he's going to come out in between the Racing Point duo. Question is, you know, how much is ERL Williams going to hold him up as New Zealand Ryan gets past Chandler Seta on those medium compound tires, as now he's 3.8 seconds behind Pirandi, and he is just chasing him down with a light lockup into turn 4 here at the Austrian Grand Prix. And Hoopalicious now 2/10 back. He's got DRC Jared on his back of him. These two drivers battled it out in PC all 36 laps, so they know each other and how they perform. DRC Jared looks to see if there's anything on the inside. B-Dunk gets a 3-second time penalty as well as they go through. Is Jared going to try to make a quick, clean, cut, and get past Hoopalicious to try to catch his teammate here and try to score a maximum amount of points for the the Mercedes team? I apologize. We're going to look.
See, now if I do believe, at least for running some laps around here, I believe that the mediums start to fall off around lap 10 to lap 15. So potentially in a few laps here, if New Zealand Ryan isn't all over the back of Pirandi, it's just going to be a lot harder chance for him to get around BRL Pirandi.
That's very true. I do know, New Zealand Ryan did stretch him out. I've heard, other drivers tell me that you really got to baby those tires in the beginning and not try to push them too hard, but New Zealand Ryan is really pushing on those tires. And another person we heard about in the beginning of saying that we get to 3-second time penalty, we heard real early in the race that with battling, as Hugo Allen sets a new fast lap of the race to a 105.1 as we have a yellow Sector 1 as Ginger Horizon looks like he possibly lost the back end of it and spun, which is now going to make him fall all the way back there. The driver that I was going to talk about that had entered into the battle right behind the was Ginger Horizon. It looks like he is out of that battle contention. But, you know, another driver now who started on the mediums, stretched those mediums all the way out, now has jumped on the soft compound tires as I'm right along with him. It's Hugo Allen. He's only 4.2 seconds on 1 lap old softs compared to everybody else in front of him. Has 13 to 12 lap old mediums or hard compound tires.
Yeah, this definitely, at least for now, the first few laps is going to work into Alan Hugo's play, as he does have a little bit of gap to the drivers ahead. But really, those softs after lap 5 just aren't going to be able to compete with all the other guys on mediums and hards, which will still have some life in them.
As Ginger Horizon dives in the pits, he's going to go for soft. Looks like he is possibly going to go for the 10 lap, 12 lap, last lap hero. Trying to go for the fast lap and throw it in there to gain at least some sort of point. Or just kind of, you know, somehow salvage some of his race. As NzL Ryan has closed the gap down to 3.2 seconds, but it doesn't look like it's really changing a whole lot so far. Chandler said has been able to keep him within a second, at least help himself out with the DRS train that these front runners are having, which has been spectacular all through this whole entire race. I definitely give a lot of credit and congratulations to these drivers. Supalicious is now 4/10 behind Chandler as he is trying to battle him out as much as possible. So we have a battle for 12th. Oz Formula Deer Hunter. They lost it. I just switched the camera over there as I dove down, and it looks like Deer Hunter got past Oz Formula, and Oz Formula just completely hit him as Deer Hunter was trying to get out of the way of Mean Fern. Wow, that is definitely something that is going to jump up to the stewards. I'm very shocked to see that. We'll definitely probably be seeing Deer Hunter dive in the pits as he's on the fresh softs. Oz Formula dives into the pits as well.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a bummer for Oz Formula, because I know his debut race, I believe 2 races ago, he had a fairly good race. I believe finishing P6, if not P7. So I give props to him for jumping up to T1 so late in the season and still keeping his elbows out compared to all the other guys around here.
That's very true. But we'll definitely, you know, keep an eye out for what happened and definitely give all the viewers a review on it on the next race. As of right now, we don't know what happened. We just saw 2 cars collide. But we're going to jump back up here as DRC Jared is now 4/10 back behind Hoopalicious on those medium tires, trying to do something with Hoopalicious to get past him. And it looks like we got a little bit of a cloud cover. The sun has gone. So I know the drivers told me dry, but is this going to be one of those weird 6-minute little rain spats at the end?
I'm going to take a guess that it's not, and it's just going to be overcast a little bit towards the end of the race.
As Deer Hunter has retired from the race, what a shame. He was hoping a lot for that strategy. I understand that he's in the back of the pack, but you know, I mean, a lot of times that strategy could have played out if there was a safety car or anything else like that. So we definitely have to keep an eye on that. As BRL Williams dives into the pits. ABR is all over the back at ERS Ham Newton for that extra point. As they come onto the main straight. Oh, ABR lost the back end and just tapped the wall, and he lost an end plate on that Ferrari. Back end definitely got a little too much of him. We see Ginger Horizon. He's still back into the pits. What is he going to? This is definitely an interesting mix. See what he does. He has retired from the session. NzL Ryan has only brought the gap down so far by 2/10 to Burundi. like those medium tires are starting to, he must have chewed through those medium tires a lot faster than what we really predicted. But I mean, he did push a lot as Haas Formula sets a new fast lap at a 105.021.
Yeah, is this about lap 12 to lap 15 is where those mediums do start to fall off. And seeing how the cloud coverage is coming into play, the temperature in those tires could be falling off for him as well, bringing in the hards into play right behind him.
Or it could be the opposite. The hard tires are going to start getting colder, and the medium tires are going to get cooler, and they're just going to get faster. Now New Zealand Ryan is 2.8 seconds from Haas Formula DNFs. What happened there? New Zealand Ryan now 2.7 seconds behind Ferrandi as he now takes off 5 tenths. He starts chasing him. Delicious is still 3 tenths back. Hugo Allen, the driver on the softs. He's right behind Hoop Delicious. He's chasing him down. DRC Jarrett dives into the pits. He must have chewed up those medium compound tires. He's joining the soft compound. He's still going to be within that time period to set a fast lap and still get a point, at least to help out the Mercedes team, because right now it looks like Cam Newton is only, as it's getting closer, it's going to probably be about a 10-second gap between those two drivers, a little about 6.7. So I was off by 4 seconds. As BRL Williams sets a new fast lap at a 104.793. So we have 7 laps to play. New Zealand Ryan's been able to bring it down to 2.7 seconds. Will Hoopalicious make a move on Chandler, and will Hugo Allen try to make a move on Hoop, or will those tires officially drop on Hugo Allen? And that's one of the questions that I have for the end of the race. Anything that you have a prediction of may happen at the end of the race with these top runners?
For me, is I'm just looking at them now as penalties. That's going to be a huge thing coming into play, especially with these 4 guys battling all for P2 right now.
I mean, I do know Chandler does have a 3-second time penalty that he got earlier in the race, but I have yet to see Hoopalicious' name pop up. I have yet to see Alan Hugo's name pop up. So we could see Hoop on the podium as Hugo Allen sends it up on the inside. He tried it, but there was no space. I'm guessing he may have misjudged his brake zone when he was going into that corner. He thought that there was going to be space. I'm not 100% certain, but he definitely lost out on that one. What a shame there, but he's still sitting 5th. He can still recover. He's still ahead of B-Dunk by 7.2 seconds. I know B-Dunk has a lot of time penalties. I don't know exactly how much, but enough to save him, as Hoopalicious is still 5 tenths back. And Chandler is 2 tenths back from New Zealand Ryan, and he is now all over the gearbox of New Zealand Ryan as they're chasing him down. Here goes Chandler. He's trying it on the inside, down into turn 3, closes the door a little bit on him as they work. Now here comes Hoop. They go through. Will Hoop try something on New Zealand Ryan as they come into turn 4? Hoop light lock up, tries to keep up with him. This is all, this is all helping Ferrandi. That gap was 2.7 seconds. Now it's 3.2. So even if Ferrandi gets a 3-second time penalty, this is just helping them with these 3 drivers battling it out.
And I do believe, since I did take a look at all the time penalties, all the drivers in the top 5 only have 1 penalty except Chandler. He's got 2 3-second time penalties.
Oh.
So right now, these top 5 drivers are all on fair grounds right now, except for Chandler.
Can Hoop make a move? He's not using his over. Oh, down on the inside he goes. He backs out of it. Almost gave you a little bit of a scare there for a second. He lost a lot of time to New Zealand Ryan, as New Zealand Ryan is taking the fight back to Chandler here through turn 4. I've noticed New Zealand Ryan gets a way better corner entry than Chandler, but it seems like Chandler gets a way better exit than New Zealand Ryan. Or is it the opposite? Or is it the same? The way I see it, that's how
I do believe Chandler did get a little bit of wheel spin on the exit of turn 3, so that could have helped New Zealand Ryan catch right back up to him.
Now Pirandi has separated the gap to 3.5 seconds from Chandler, which is helping him out all the way through here in this race at the Austrian Grand Prix, as we have 3 laps to play, and anything can happen here, as New Zealand Ryan and Hoopalicious all reeling each other into about 4 to 3/10 as they go through. The deltas are ever changing with these DRS zones as they go through. I'm curious on which driver is saving as much fuel in these trains for the last lap, shootout where you slap it to Rich and hope for the best and push as hard as you possibly can.
As Bioro Pirandi builds another 3-second time penalty. So I do believe that Pirandi and Chandler do have 6 seconds of penalties in total.
Which I believe, yeah, you and I were talking about, as Chandler runs it really wide, but now that's going to separate Chandler from Pirandi to 4 seconds. So if they have 6 seconds, Pirandi's still going to have 1, yeah, okay. As Jared gets a 3-second time penalty, he's back there in 7th.
Actually, never mind, Pirandi, that's his first penalty, so he still has a controlling lead with all the other drivers behind.
So no matter what, he'll still have a 1-second lead advantage. Wow. Well, let's just hope that he doesn't get another one. The rest of the races, we will be closing up to having 2 laps left. As he's about to go through ADR. What happened to ADR? We're going to jump down to Meanford. Oh, and he lost it in turn 1 and crashed out. What a shame there for ABR. I know he was battling for that last point in the top 10. As we both see Chandler has reeled in Pirandi to 3.4 seconds. Now, we both know that Chandler has that massive time penalty gap. But the thing is if they're able to reel him in anymore, and if New Zealand Ryan, just has the 1 time penalty, or if he doesn't have a time penalty, this may play into a huge factor for him here late in this race to help him out.
And while we were on board with those guys, DRC Jared did make a move around Beaton going into turn 3. So this will give him 1 more lap to push and try to go for fastest lap once more.
As Chandler's now 2.7 seconds from Pirandi, as he is just hammering it down on the last lap to try to catch the leader. New Zealand Ryan's fallen back 1 second. He's lost the DRS to Chandler. Now he is pushing with all of his might. DRC Jared sits a new fast lap at a 104.3, gaining that 1 extra point as Hoop now DRS open, trying to chase New Zealand Ryan down, trying to get that top podium spot there. He locks it up into turn 4 as he goes through. Chandler now to 2.2 seconds.
Oh, and one battle that's spicing up is Bureau Williams and FinFan makes a move on the DRS straight before going into turn 3 around the outside as well.
And here goes, ERS Ham Newton and Number one, Fin Fan checks up right behind. As Pirandi has crossed the line. And it's going to be Pirandi, New Zealand, Ryan Hoopalicious. We're going to jump back down to ERs. Oh, and Fin Fan loses it. Looks like he gave too much throttle there in the turn 4. Loses the back end. As BRL Williams coming through the second to last corner. As he comes to the last corner. It's a little bit wide as he crosses the line to slot into 7th ahead of B-Dunk, who finishes 8th. ERS Ham Newton, what nice recovery race for him on those hard compound tires. He's going to sit 9th. His number one Fin Fan, he comes through. He will edge in 10th, and we are just waiting on Mean Fern himself in Sector 3 as he comes to the second to last corner. Here he goes, and across the line. That is going to conclude the Austrian Grand Prix for Breakout Racing League. What an amazing battle. I mean, and Alan Hugo gets driver of the day as Pirandi has left the session. I don't know if he usually does the interviews with us.
Typically he doesn't join us, but I'll be sending the interviews to the other guys on podium.
Yeah. And there you have it, everybody. BRL Pirandi taking it early in the race, finishing it. Definitely very strong performance. Our championship leader, New Zealand, Ryan, he's finished 2nd. Very strong performance with him, especially with that long stint on the softs onto the mediums. And then Hoopalicious just staying in there to come into 3rd. Poor to Chandler with that extra time penalty. That would have put him in the 2nd ahead of New Zealand Ryan. But, you know, that just like any other race, you know, time penalties play into a factor. We see DRC Jared, he is behind Alan Hugo. And DRC Jared has a 15-second time penalty. BRL Williams, biggest move, aside from Alan Hugo, you know, from 15th place to 7th, B-Dunk to 8th. Fin Fan, he started 7th, fell back to 9th. ERS Ham Newton started 9th, fell back to 10th. Mean Fern 14th to 11th. But I mean, overall strong performance. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it was definitely a very interesting race, seeing how all the top runners were on softs and just seeing the mix of the field on medium softs and our one hard runner, Pierre Williams, who did finish 7th in the race. So definitely was interesting seeing all the battles, different strategy calls for the race. Be interesting seeing how the rest of the tiers go for the Austrian Grand Prix.
Very true, very true. And let's see who we have here. Looks like Hoopalicious has joined. Please, Hoop, can you please check the box to include your audio? And then I believe the only other driver is New Zealand Ryan. Hopefully he hasn't booked it already.
I will see if I can pop him in, but looks like he did leave, so...
Yeah, he did. Let me see if I can. I apologize to the viewers. We're trying to get these guys in here. New Zealand Ryan, the only person I haven't had it as a friend. I don't usually do tier 1, so.
Wait, what are you trying to do?
Oh, we're just trying to...
Zealand Ryan.
I got you.
Oh, he says no podium interviews.
Oh, no podium interviews? Okay.
Yeah, in the tier 1 chat.
All right.
Ryan.
Oh.
Okay, no, I guess all we have is...
He's off to watching Bathurst.
And that's fully understandable, but we have Hoopalicious. That means Hoopalicious, you get more questions.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Now, Hoopalicious, you know, a strong qualifying performance. I mean, I was able to see your performance on the BC League. You transferred it over to the Xbox League in Tier 1 here. You did what I kind of expected. You know, you showed a strong performance. Talk us through your qualifying session. What was kind of like going through your mind with the drivers?
Uh, it was actually surprisingly I didn't invalidate that many laps. I got my first 2 runs in without an invalidation, and I was surprised. But those 2 laps weren't really that good. So yeah, what I ended up with the point 0.8, I wasn't really satisfied with. I was doing like point 0.5s, point 0.6s in practice, and that would have been like P2, P3. So kind of disappointing with that.
Yeah, I mean we weren't really sure how the drivers were going to be playing out. We did see a lot of invalidated laps through qualifying session. We were actually kind of surprised to see, we were curious on where people were going to be placed as they were trying to stretch the track limits. Now at the start of your race, I noticed Ginger Horizon got a big strong jump on you at the start of the race and kind of made a move around you. Talk us through that, but then you were able to somehow on the second straight make that place back up.
He passed me? I'm sorry, I do not remember the start that much. I don't know. I don't remember what happened honestly with Ginger.
It's okay. Phantom, do you have any questions for Hoopalicious?
Um, only question is just kind of give us your thoughts when you're within the train of Chandler, you, and I believe NzL Ryan as well. Just kind of give us a race rundown of most of the race towards the back half.
Yeah, the goal was just to stay in the DRS, try not to get any warnings, and yeah, because I knew Chandler had 6 seconds, and at the end I tried to push to catch Ryan, but he has a DRS as well, and that's really hard to overtake him. And my tires were like near on 80%, so I had to back off at the last lap.
Right. And I do have one last question. Um, how do you think the race is going to be, at least playing out for the British Grand Prix? Are you hoping for a dry race, wet race? What's your thoughts on that?
Definitely a dry race. I think my quali pace isn't that good there, but my race pace, I feel pretty confident about that. It should be a pretty close field there too. A lot of people like that track, so you can expect to have a lot of close times there.
All right. That's all my questions, Exia. I will let you wrap off the Tier 1 stream.
I just want to make a huge shout out to all the viewers that came out, watched Tier 1, battle it out at the Austrian Grand Prix. Congratulations to our podium finisher, Hoopalicious, NzL Ryan, and BRL Parandi, who was not able to join us in the booth here for post race interviews. But please check us out on Monday night as we have Tier 3 and Tier 4 battling it out at the Austrian Grand Prix. Tier 3 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Tier 4, myself and Phantom will be battling it out at the Austrian Grand Prix. Thank you guys very much.